Choice here. Thank you so much for joining me again for another session of Choice Spirit. Here, I want to take a moment and talk a little bit about check your habits. I talked about this before, many times before. Most of what I speak about is just to remind you of something you already know. You already know. Why am I talking about habits again? Because habits instruct your new selves on how to be. So if you have a habit that is rooted deep, everything that comes through you will be audited. Will go through your habits, your habitual way of processing information, your habitual way of dealing with information. Now, I talked about this before. Your cells are constantly renewed. You have new cells that are coming to be within your body every moment. And what happens is the older generation of cells pass on the information to the new generation of cells. And the new generation of cells carry on business as usual. They perpetuate whatever cycle you have going on, whatever belief system you have, whatever you believe, whatever you feel deeply, whatever's in your psyche. All of these things are passed down. Whatever has happened genetically, if you want to bring in genetics from the human perspective. Neuron connections within the mind. All of those old pathways are passed into the new generation. I talk about people who have various ailments. Those ailments, that information is passed into the new generation, so the new generation know to continue that ailment. Now, long ago, there was a study that was done. I think it was someone that had multiple personality disorder or something like that. There was a personality disorder. And as the therapist went through the various different personalities, there were personalities that had certain issues that other personalities within the same person, the being, had. So say, for instance, one of the personality needed glasses and the other one didn't. One personality had a certain ailment, whereas the other personalities didn't. Each personality had a different mindset, had a different way of seeing things, had different habits, had different perspectives, and believed realities. This is interesting because how does one person, one being with one genetic makeup who has a mental disorder, so they say multiple personalities, and each personality has a different, seemingly different point of view, a different reality. In the same body, how does one personality experience sickness while the other one is perfectly healthy, youthful, and full of energy? But they're housed within the same body. So how are the cells sharing information to the next generation of cells if the personality is perpetuating the need for glasses, but the other personality isn't? Could it be that each personality is vibrating at a different octave? It has its own unique frequency, its own point of view, literally. Though it's all within the same being, the same body, outside the body, when I say the mind, when we think in terms of the mind, when I say the mind, most likely I forget to point out that I'm talking about the mind in most cases, unless I'm talking about neural connections within the mind. Then I'm talking about the physical mind. But when I talk about the mind is outside of the brain. So could it be that there are different points that the personality exists in different points within the mind? I know, I go here. For those of you who don't need this much information, don't want this much, you're like, okay, whatever, I'm not into all that metaphysical jargon and all of that esoteric stuff. But it's all connected, really. Many of us are caught up in the illusion, and we've become delusional about it. So much of what I talk about is to have you take a closer look at what you are accepting as truth and reality. When there is plenty of information to let you know, so that you can see why the possibility of what you believe true may not be all of what you believe it to be. And see, people that talk like this, they, like I told you before, they put away somewhere. It's like the happy people. They're just too damn happy. Or the people that can't figure it out because they got too much coming out at one time, so they put them somewhere. Or they know too much, so they put them somewhere. But I speak about this stuff, but with that said, I speak about these things to kind of like, broaden the perspective. That one being with multiple personalities, each personality experiencing a different point of view, operating at a different frequency, is having a different experience, but it's within the same being. Now, I'm not saying that I'm not saying that we need to go that far out. I'm not suggesting that at all, because you'll really be trying to get your mind back for real. So get your mind back, get your mind back, get your mind back. When you think you have your mind, think again. When you start exploring those kind of things, you're going down a rabbit hole that you may not be able to pull yourself up out of. So I'm not suggesting that. I'm just saying that your cells pass on information to tell your next generations of cells how to be. And you can either keep the status quo or begin giving your cells new information, new direction. Let it come from the heart space, the sacred heart space. I tell you, everything, let that be it. Let it not be external things that you're, trying to pull in and make sense of, and that's how you're moving. No. Allow that which flows through you. That is all knowing. That is consciousness. Well, let me not go all the way into that, but consciousness expressing itself through you. Okay? Let that, from a pure heart space, direct and guide you and show you and use that to instruct and direct your cells. Your cells are very intelligent beings, and you have trillions of them, and they listen to you. They listen to you through free will. It's only through grace. You have this free will. And your cells, though they're intelligent beings, and they're more connected than you are, and they know exactly what to do, will follow your lead if you instruct them otherwise. That's why the body will go through things when you're believing and talking and being and behaving and your conviction, by your own conviction and your own judgment, you're judged. By your own likeness and beliefs, you're judged. By judging yourself, calling yourself by name. So whatever you call by name, and you're instructing those cells then will pass that information to the next generation. I hope you can pull this message together. I hope you can pull this message together. Hey, Choice here. Thank you so much for joining me again for another session of Choice Spirit. Namaste.